Today, we are going to talk about different types of financial aid available to students, the process behind allocating and awarding dollars, and something called a Special Circumstances Appeals process, which can help students access funds if their situation has changed in unforeseen and debilitating ways. Financial aid is literally just helpful money. This helpful money comes from businesses, schools, local, state, and federal governments, past graduates, generous donors, community groups, religious organizations, sports teams, fancy-sounding associations, charities, and more. These benefactors, a word which translates as to do good, have established regular and regulated methods for distributing their money. Oftentimes, money given by benefactors is not required to be repaid, such as grants, scholarships, and work study. But loans are required to be repaid, typically after the student leaves college. Brace yourself for a crash course on the different types of financial aid, starting with scholarships. Scholarships are funds that do not have to be repaid, and are often awarded based upon merit. There are three main types of scholarships: institutional scholarships, private scholarships or outside scholarships, and government scholarships. These are offered by individual colleges or universities. Institutions set aside hundreds of thousands of dollars, sometimes millions, to be used for institutional scholarships. To be considered for institutional scholarships, you need to apply to the college or university and submit a few forms. But the basic fact is that these scholarships are more abundant than many students realize. Some things to keep in mind about institutional scholarships. 1. The value. While a $10,000 scholarship could be awesome at a college where tuition and fees total $15,000, it is less valuable at a school where tuition and fees might exceed $30,000. 2. Find out if it's renewable. Renewable scholarships can be more rewarding than non-renewable scholarships, as additional dollars are often gifted over a span of time. 3. Run the numbers. After applying to schools, students may receive scholarship offers from several institutions. You're encouraged to consider each, investigate costs, call the school's financial aid office, clarify, ask questions, and otherwise shop around for the best option. Just remember to inform the institutions that you don't choose as soon as possible, so those scholarship funds can be reallocated to another student. Local municipalities, state, and federal government are all education benefactors, and they make scholarships available to their citizens, so that their citizens can further their education and better themselves and their communities. Just like with most scholarships, students must invest time and effort to seek out these opportunities. The U.S. government identifies and streamlines financial aid eligibility for prospective students through the Free Application for Federal Student Aid, commonly shortened to the F.A.F.S.A. Because the F.A.F.S.A. uses tax returns, social security numbers, and other official, verifiable, and what might otherwise be confidential information, many government and private benefactors use financial need estimates pulled from the F.A.F.S.A. to qualify applicants. More on that later. Just know that you'll need to complete the F.A.F.S.A. to be eligible for most scholarships managed by the state of Idaho, which can be found on the nextsteps.idaho.gov website. If you're an Idaho high school student, current college student, or a student who dropped out of college and avoided going back for at least 2 years, then you should consider applying for the Idaho Opportunity Scholarship. It is the largest state-managed scholarship program in the state of Idaho. Eligibility is based off of financial need and grade point average, and here are some cool things about it. No essay is required, it can be renewed up to 3 times, it takes only 5 minutes to apply, and it can be used for academic and career technical programs. Please remember, though, that the Idaho Opportunity Scholarship can only be used at one of 11 eligible Idaho colleges or universities. For more information, nextsteps.idaho.gov is the place to go. Private donors, businesses, nonprofit organizations, communities, and other groups like to help students too. Scholarships from these entities often have unique applications with varying written, oral, or visual components, and they enforce strict deadlines. High school counselors are often the best resource for finding scholarships from organizations outside of an institution. If you've already earned your high school diploma and therefore don't have access to a college and career advisor, ask some questions at work. Many employers have programs that can help you pursue a degree or professional certificate while you work for them. No matter what, do not pay a website to search for scholarships. It's unnecessary. If you need inspiration or instruction, look up nextsteps.idaho.gov. It's free, and it can connect you to other free scholarship engines. Thanks for sticking with me so far. Here's a lightning round of non-scholarship financial aid. Federal grants are available to eligible students to pay all or part of the tuition and fees at almost any college or university in the United States. That is the only thing this money can be used for, and it goes to the students who need it the most. Grants do not need to be repaid and are awarded based upon financial need, whereas most scholarships are merit-based, which means based on your high school and/or college GPA. Students eligible for work-study programs can work part-time jobs on campus or off campus. The bulk of the student's wages are paid through federal or state work-study funds, so the student earns their financial aid, or helpful money, every paycheck. Earnings can be used to pay for tuition, fees, room and board, books, or other expenses. These jobs often have great perks, too. They look great on a resume, have flexible hours, and often pay more than comparable non-work study jobs. There are 3 doors before you. One says federal student loans, the next says private student loans, and the last says plastic. Never walk through door number 3. Seriously, if you can avoid it, if there's any other possible means to pay, or if you can just wait until you've saved enough. Do not use a credit card to pay for school. Google it. That leaves door number 1 and 2. The federal student loan might be safer. Door number 1 tends to have flexible repayment options and lower fixed interest rates. Private student loans can have variable interest rates, which start low and appealing and often get big and scary. This, of course, is a simplified perspective. Talk to your family and/or a trusted financial advisor before committing to anything. Peeking behind door number 1, we discover 3 more doors. With a subsidized loan, the government pays interest for as long as the student is attending the institution and taking a specified number of credits a semester. Without that help, students will pay more in interest because the loan is unsubsidized. PLUS loans are fixed-rate, unsubsidized loans for graduate students and the parents of college students. If a parent wants to help their child pay for tuition, this 3rd door is an option. The government will give people tax breaks if they put money into an account that is specifically for college or continuing education opportunities. Both account owners and unaffiliated contributors, think grandparents, aunts, uncles, friends of the family, are rewarded whenever they add money to these plans. What? College savings, or 529 plans, work like retirement accounts in that money is invested, and if the investment performs well, then you will make money because your money is in the right place at the right time. Why? You can deduct contributions, which means you could lower your tax bill while at the same time saving money for college. The previous segment defined different types of financial aid. Now, let's talk about a particular task that can sometimes be confusing. The free application for federal student aid, aka the F.A.F.S.A. The F.A.F.S.A is a form that the federal government and nearly all colleges and universities use to help determine how much financial aid you may be eligible for. The F.A.F.S.A is administered by the U.S. Department of Education and is safe and secure. Because the F.A.F.S.A uses tax returns, social security numbers, and other official, verifiable, and what is otherwise confidential information, Almost every other group offering scholarships uses financial need estimates pulled from the F.A.F.S.A to qualify applicants. Any student interested in receiving financial aid must follow these 2 simple steps. Step 1. Submit a F.A.F.S.A. Step 2. Make sure you submitted it correctly and as early as possible. It opens every year on October 1st. Once you have submitted it, the U.S. Department of Education uses information from the F.A.F.S.A to determine an expected family contribution, or EFC. This estimate is made available to colleges and universities. Then, financial aid offices at the schools where you applied use the EFC to calculate how much they can offer you. The offer itself is called a financial aid award package, and it is outlined in an award letter or offer letter that is sent via email or posted in the institution's student portal. Financial aid award packages can include scholarships, grants, work study, and federal student loans. After you get and accept your financial aid package, it's important to remember that financial aid does not work unless you do. Most funds are only viable if a student can and continues to fulfill certain requirements: regular attendance, a specific course load, GPA parameters, and so on. After you accept an award, prepare to work hard until you graduate. Alright, so now you know a little bit about how financial aid packages are calculated and how you can keep them. But there's another really important thing about financial aid packages that you should know about, and that is that they aren't set in stone and that they can potentially change if you need more funds. The fact that financial aid packages can change can be extremely helpful because sometimes life throws surprises at you. Those surprises can completely change your financial reality. If these surprises happen and you think you might not be able to afford to go to college or continue college, please do not give up. Instead, consider using the Special Circumstances Appeals process to request more funds in your financial aid package. The Special Circumstances Appeals process allows students to explain to their school's financial aid office why the F.A.F.S.A or the expected family contribution might not accurately reflect a student's current financial situation. Job loss, parental divorce, or a death or illness in the family could all be reasons why an expected family contribution might be inaccurate. By completing the Special Circumstances Appeals process, the Financial Aid Office may take unusual circumstances into consideration and, potentially, make additional funds available. Each institution has a different appeals process. In general, though, students will have to describe their situation via a form created for that purpose and gather documentation to support those claims. Evidence can include things like layoff notices, paid medical bills, receipts, or account statements. Once the student completes all the necessary forms and documentation, a committee at the institution will review the appeal and notify the student of their decision. Contact your institution's financial aid office and ask about their Special Circumstances Appeals process if you think you may be eligible for additional support. Please, if you find yourself confronting difficult realities, endure, persist. A college degree is worth it.